So good morning, everyone, here at our Paramount Hotel, and we're going to have our third Fireside under the umbrella of Empower Hour by DAMAC. And we have two amazing people, Errol and Dalia, and we're going to talk about customer experience, which is not an easy topic. So welcome, nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
And let's find out a little bit more about you before we go into the topic of discussion. So I'm starting from you, Dalia. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm Dalia Reda. I've been working with DAMAC for more than 10 years now.
Okay.
I'm taking the role of the Senior Director for Customer Service for the Account Management Team. And as I told you, I've been with DAMAC for almost 10 years.
It's a long time, huh?
Yes, long time. It's an honor to be with DAMAC for almost more than 10 years. And I'm in love with my position and my role. I'm responsible for the customer area for our elite and top brokers clients as well.
So you're going to always say, call Dalia, and then we're going to go for that, right? Okay,
I'm
going to write it down.
I'm always available on the 22nd floor. You just come, you're going to find me available.
If the elevator works.
It works. You have to come very early.
Okay, I will do it. Coming to you.
Yes.
A little bit about yourself, who you are, what you're doing here.
Sure.
Yeah, let us know about you.
So my name is Errol van Graan. Since I've come to Dubai, I've had a little bit of an identity change. I've become Errol Graan, but that's okay. I'm quite okay with that, to be honest. From South Africa. 3 months at DAMAC, but also 3 months in Dubai as well. So new to the region, new to the organization, new to the industry. So it's been a phenomenal experience for the last 3 months, to be honest. I've got 6 kids. 5 of them live in Australia and 1 in South Africa with my wife.
Well done.
And then we have a cat as well. So,
okay,
yeah.
okay. I will go back to you because I want to know something from each of you that nobody knows here. It's not public knowledge. You feel comfortable to share, but it's something that defines you as a person.
I guess most of the people around me and my colleagues, they don't know that I'm coming from an Iranian family. I'm not pure Egyptian.
Okay.
I'm half Iranian. I'm coming from an Iranian father and Egyptian mother. But surprisingly, I don't know how to speak Farsi.
You don't know?
No, I don't.
Huh?
I do only speak Arabic and English.
Okay, so we know that. Everybody knows that. Thank you for sharing. Errol, something about you that we don't know. I mean, we don't know anything.
Don't know anything.
Sorry.
So I think, in terms of what I've shared, I think that's probably new to a lot of people. I love sport. I love cycling. I've taken part in many, many cycle races.
You're not these crazy guys that they wake up 3 o'clock in the morning to go cycling and they do like 100 kilometers?
We have a cycle race in South Africa called the Double Century. It's over 200 kilometers, and I've done that. So yeah, I enjoy doing long endurance sort of rides.
Amazing. Okay, so we know more stuff about you, and we can find out probably some more during the conversation.
Sure.
Going back to the topic, which is customer experience, which is not an easy one, but I want to hear from you and from both of you, what is customer experience to you? And I will start from Dalia because she's been here for a longer time, and then come to you, Errol, if you don't mind.
Customer experience, it's the sum of all the interaction that you provide to the customer during his journey with your organization. So it's not one day interaction, it's not one day service. It's sum of all the interaction that you provide to the customer during the journey with the organization. For example, with DAMAC, it starts from sales time, during the journey up till handing over the unit to the customer, the apartment or the villa to the customer, and even after handing over the unit. So from here you build the impression, the customer build the impression about the brand. So you're holding a responsibility how to build the impression from the customer about your brand. So it's not an easy position at all.
It's not an easy at all, and you're always in demand and always at the wrong side. Whatever happens and it's not happening well, it's not working.
Tell me about it.
Customer experience. I don't know how you survive into this role for such a long time. Errol, what it means for you, and especially coming from a different industry and from a different region, I can say.
I think the challenge is that customers' expectations changes all the time. And therefore, it's a moving goalpost. You never achieve it because customers' expectations is always shifting. I mean, if you just think, for example, probably 10 years ago when we ordered a takeaway pizza, we just watched the clock, and when the guy knocked on the door, whether it was an hour and a half later, it was fine. Now we're watching an app to see when is the guy coming. Why is the pizza taking long in terms of production? So I think the challenge is that customers' expectations are shifting, therefore organizations need to shift. And I think to Dalia's point, customer experience is about all of the touch points. It's the entire experience across with a particular organization, with a brand. And therefore, everybody has to own that customer experience in any organization. And it is a priority for a lot of companies at this point in time.
How do you see the friction points when it comes to the real estate and the business you're running? And how do you address that between brand and a customer?
So I think the real estate industry, it's very complex, right? You're buying, you're purchasing a very large ticket item. Therefore, your expectations is very high in that purchasing journey. The challenge is, for any organization, how do we remove the complexity for the customer and make it really simple for them from a process perspective? If you think of the amount of the documentation, the legalities, the pressure on the customer for making such a purchase is quite intense. So therefore, the friction points becomes quite complex in terms of that journey. One, it becomes multiple because it's quite a long process in terms of the purchase cycle. It's not something that you purchase today, you walk out with it and you're happy. The purchase process is sometimes a 2 to 4 year journey for the customer. So therefore, as an organization, how do we preempt and anticipate those friction points and try and remove it for the customer up front? Because we can see where some of those challenges would emerge, and therefore, how do we make it simple for the customer? I think that's the challenge we have as a business, and I think that's the journey that we're on from a DAMAC perspective.
What's your top 2 challenges in this journey, in this collaboration relationship with these kind of customers?
Transparency and communication. You have to keep your customer aware. You have to understand your customer quite well. After you understand your customer, you're going to be able to build the engagement program with the customer.
Okay.
But you need to have very high knowledge about your product and your customer as well.
Question to both of you. Is the purchase of real estate emotional or a logical decision?
Would you like to go first?
And I can tell you my point of view.
I guess it's a mix between both. But
I mean, if I talk from my experience, for my wife it's emotional. For me, it's logical. So sometimes it's a little bit of that tension. But look, it's a big investment for a lot of people. If you talk about bulk investors and you talk about home buyers, it's very different. For a bulk investor, it's a financial decision. They look at the numbers, they make it, for somebody who's going to live there with their family, who's spending their life savings, it's a very emotional purchase. And I think it's important that we understand and differentiate that so that we can manage the expectations and the treatment through that journey for the customers in different ways.
How do you use technology to make the DAMAC brand stronger and make it visible that you're ahead of the curve?
So for me personally, technology must always be an enabler. And for a customer, it's about enabling trust, which is key. So therefore, if I'm using your app, if I'm using your digital technologies that's available, how do I get confidence that firstly it works and it does what it needs to do, and therefore I'm getting the results that I'm looking for through that means? Therefore, I build trust in the brand, I build confidence in the brand. So therefore, technology must always be an enabler in terms of the entire customer journey to be able to build that trust and confidence, because that is fundamental from a customer experience perspective. So I think we're doing a lot of investment in that space at the moment. There's a lot of work that's happening in the back end to make sure that the experience and the confidence is growing of the customers through this particular channel. Because if the channel doesn't work and it causes frustration, customers lose confidence. They lose confidence in the technology, the capability, and then ultimately that starts to filter into a lack of confidence for the brand. So therefore, it's critical that we continue to maintain that and continue to invest in that capability going forward.
Okay. How do you see the markets here? I mean, the regional market in Dubai, and how do you see your expansion, across the world, Miami, London? You're very posh, guys. You go everywhere. Very nice. Yes. You become very international, which is very interesting because I want to ask you how you see the customer expectations change, if they don't change, when it comes to working in markets which are not the one here? And I will start with you, Dalia.
I guess we're growing internationally. DAMAC is going doing very well internationally because we handed over our project in London.
Yeah.
We handed over project in Saudi Arabia. We're having our project in Lebanon, Qatar. So this is going very well by DAMAC. We're not only focusing on locally, which is Dubai, but we're going internationally as well. And we have built within the CRM department as well an international customer service team to focus on our international customer, non-UAE resident, and we're having our offices in Saudi Arabia. It's always with a CRM dedicated team to make sure to focus and serve the customer who's not UAE resident. So we're not focusing only on the UAE resident as well, but we're going internationally as well.
Okay. Similarities, differences between the different customers in the different part of the world?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is also build consistency from a brand and a brand experience perspective. So one of the things that we're focusing on now, and we've had a few meetings this past week on it, is how do we start to expand the DLAP capability into these markets to provide a consistent experience. So again, it comes back to enabling, leveraging technology to provide that consistent experience. Whatever we're doing locally, we're looking in terms of how we can expand that into the international market. So for example, one of the things we are relaunching is a program called DAMAC Cares. And that we're looking in terms of how can that extend back into the international markets.
So what is this program?
You want to perhaps?
DAMAC Cares, it's a team that will be dedicated to go out of the office, to go visit all our buildings, handed over buildings, and to have the honor to meet all our customers, resident in the building and the tenant as well, to listen for their experience, capture their survey and their feedbacks, and introduce the DAMAC Living app to the customers, and to be as if it's a portable customer team that they go among the buildings, spend some time inside the buildings with the customers and the tenants. And we're planning to have this DAMAC Cares not only within Dubai, but internationally as well.
Okay. KPIs, because you must have KPIs, right? You deal with money, you bring revenue, we talk about people, it's a long-standing industry and business. What are your KPIs? What are your top 3 KPIs except from making money?
So within operations, we have lots of KPIs.
Yeah.
But I think the one that is probably the most important for us is really looking at what we call Net Promoter Score. Yeah. Looks at brand loyalty. Yeah. And we track this daily, we look at it daily, and the team focuses on that from a priority perspective. Because it tells us a few things. One, it tells us the customer's experience and how that's filtering into their brand loyalty, so their commitment to the brand longer term. But I think secondly, what it allows us to do is to actually look at a transaction and interaction level, how we are doing. So are we doing a great job? Are we not? Is the customer having confidence in what we are doing? Are they confident in the way that we are handling their particular issue? So that's probably our number one priority and then digitization is key.
Okay.
So, how are we moving customers from traditional channels into more digital channels? And in terms of just, how that's going and the experience customers are having in those channels, because it comes back to the point around confidence and trust being built through those particular channels as well.
Have you ever faced, I guess you have, but I'm politely asking actually, a fail moment in the process with customer interaction or experience, and how did you address this in the last 10 years you've been with the company?
Of course, in the customer service field, there's a lot of failures. But you have to reframe this failure into a lesson for you to address your negative and your gaps and to come back stronger. And in the field of the customer service, you never guarantee that every day you're having only happy, satisfied customer.
Yeah.
This will never happen, because someday you're going to have the same satisfied customer, but maybe second day for an issue or
Will
two
not be.
issue, he's not going to be happy. But you have to get used to this. You have to listen to your customer. You have to capture their need exactly, and you have to work on that as a challenge for you to come back stronger and to keep on focusing on getting the satisfaction back, which is
Okay.
not an easy
It's not.
task at
It's
all.
not. It's not. I am sure it's not.
But you never guarantee that every day you're going to only face a happy
Okay.
customer.
So it's a mindset. This is a mindset.
Exactly.
With that, I would like to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, first of all, to know you. Second of all, to learn so much about your elite customers and your live app and all the things you're doing. I need to say that every time I see what you do, I'm getting impressed about how DAMAC is changing. Thank you very much, Dalia and Errol.